Hey, today is all about fantastic events, live stream events, online events. How do we make them magnificent? Shorter video this week. Cut down on the intro. Love to hear your thoughts. Are you ready? I know I am. I'm ready. If the sign says I'm ready, that's got to be a good thing. Let's get it happening. The Get Events Online show. Oh, Chris is pumped. Nice one. We're loving it, Christopher. Thank you for joining us. Let's get the countdown. Oh, yeah. Gold. Welcome to another episode of Get Events Online, the live stream. Hey, today we're talking about online events and what does it take to get events online. Thank you for joining us. I know Christopher's here. There's a couple other people who said they're going to be here. Throw a comment in the chat box. If this is something that's of interest to you and your crew, why not start a watch party? Share it with anyone else you know who does some fun and exciting. Oh, Donna Morris is here. That makes me happy too. Great to see you here in the room. All right, online events. There's been a whole lot of conversation about them, what they do, how they work, and there is so much that gets lost in the mix. I've got to tell you, I've been producing and hosting a stack of online events of late, but I've been doing it for quite some time. So I want to make sure that we are learning some of the fabulous things. Hey, Mariki, good to see you here. Hi from Queensland. So online events. Let's talk. Let's get to it, shall we? Let's get to it, shall we? Here's the thing with online events. It's not just a Zoom meeting. So if you're used to your standard Zoom meeting happening in a room somewhere, that is not what I'm talking about with online events. It's like, how do we make it something a bit different? How do we make it special? How do we make it so that Zoom fatigue is not an issue? Because here's the thing. Hey Philippe, I personally believe Zoom fatigue is a myth. If you are running an event or you're hosting an event and people are talking about Zoom fatigue, my message to you is get better. Because Zoom fatigue happens because you are not good enough as a presenter or as a facilitator, or the event you've created is not good enough, or the people you've got is just not good enough. We have to get better at this. So I want to cover a few of the things that you need to consider when it comes to online events. Now, this could be a small event that you're having, maybe a little training course. It could be an awards gala. It could be a large hundreds, thousands person event. Here are some of the key things you just have to consider. And the first one is, what's the best modality? Is it something simple like this? Is it just me talking to the camera and away we go? And for many events, that is good enough. But for others, you might want to take it to the next level. You might want to do things like being able to do stuff like putting on a little a lower third, saying who you are. By the way, it's me, Warwick Merry, certified virtual presenter, certified speaking professional, all that sort of fun stuff. So you may want to be able to do that kind of stuff. You maybe want to be able to put on some different overlays and things to just sort of get those messages across. Here's a little overlay I've done sooner about the triple. This is in a previous video about the rule of thirds, but it was handy. I wanted to throw it up there. So you've got to really consider, what is it that you can do to really bring your event to life? What modality is going to suit it best? So is it video? Is it still? Is it live? I've had this conversation with people. If all you are doing is just playing videos, then you need to consider, well, do we actually need to have an event? Do we release the video to them to watch in their own time? So you have to understand, what's the outcome that we're after. So too often people just go, righto, we're going to do an online event. This is what we used to do. Let's just shove it online. But the online systems and processes are different and the capabilities are different. So I would suggest to you, sometimes you're best to go, how can we use what online can do? Maybe video is appropriate. And video is great because it minimizes a lot of risks. You don't have to worry about, is the tech going to drop out? Is the presenter going to forget their stuff? Are we not looking quite professional enough? Are we not getting the right? Because you've already seen it and done it, you know it's good. You can get it right, and then you just have to stream it and hope that the streaming works. So it can minimize risks, but then it maximizes others, because it's like, well, if it's just video, why should I watch? I can watch telly. So how do we add that element of live to it? Is it, well, we'll have a video, but we have the speaker chatting at the same time, so that I'm getting the pre-recorded message, but then I'm getting the live chat. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. Maybe there's some live segments in between. Maybe there's someone who's just using still images and a voiceover over the top. So you've got to look at what's the best way to get across our message to get the outcome that we're after. My thing's all about engagement, I've got to tell you. So often our people, we're tired of having events done to us, and we want them done with us. So what do you do to help engage people? I'd love it, because I know there's a few speakers who are listening as we speak. So there's a few things I'd love to hear. What are some of the things that you do to engage with people? And how do we make it? There was a recent event that I was at where we had a whole lot of different speakers. I happened to be the host, and every single speaker presented. No one engaged. No one talked to the questions. No one talked to anything. Hey, Julian, thanks for joining us, mate. Julian Mather, by the way, is an online video expert if you need to, particularly when it comes to smartphones. So have a chat to him about that kind of stuff. But you've got to engage. And one of the things I do is I do slam poetry. So I'll take words from the audience and turn them into a poem on the spot. You can't fake that in a video because I'm using their words. Sometimes it is as simple as asking questions. Now, this is, as a live stream, the only engagement I can get is the commentary that you give me, and I'm happy to build that in. Or some questions I might get in advance. I'm not going to throw the camera to you. But it is about using, thanks Donna, yeah, it's like I love the audience in the chat box. I love them being part of it. Think about it, when we watch TV now, I don't know about you, but my wife and I, when we watch TV, we always have the phone in our hand. Whether we're looking at, who's that actor, what else have they been in, and we look them up on IMDb, or maybe we're surfing the net as we're watching or half watching a TV show, or maybe we're looking at something else. So it is about how do we engage people and get them on board. But yeah, and technology also comes with additional risks. So there's always risk management. Any of your AV, any of that kind of stuff that you're getting involved, you want to make sure that your backups and that your backups have backups. I know for me, I have multiple computers. I have multiple ways to connect to the internet. I'm considering getting a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. And I have many stories about how the uninterruptible power supply can get interrupted. But it's a matter of how far do we go. I suspect the thing that sticks with me the most is the message that the Minister for Fun once gave me. And the Minister for Fun once said, you have to make it fun. If it's not fun, don't do it. If you have to do it, make it fun. I can't think of an event that can't have an injection of fun. I don't care how serious you are. I don't care about what you're talking about. There's an element of fun. I remember at my grandfather's funeral many years ago, some of the stories people were telling were hilarious, and it was a way for us to bond over him and his memory and to just release the tension of the day. So, and a funeral is probably one of the most serious and somber events that I can think of, but fun is important. Any event professional will tell you there's 3 R's that we look at. And one is ROI. What's our return on investment? So if you've got a client that's running an online event, you really have to look at, what do I get for my money? Because it's going to cost you money. What do I get? What's in it for me? But there's 2 R's that are often missed. So ROI is the first one. ROO is the other one. Like, what's the return on objectives? Sometimes we know we're going to have to invest money with no financial return, but the objective is we want to engage the team. We want to reward them. We want to celebrate what's going on. We want to do as a sales outreach. We want to do as a marketing piece. So you need to consider, well, what are our objectives and how do I measure that? Because measurement of online events is something that has taken the back seat. It is not just eyeballs. It also has to include outcomes. So ROI, ROO, and the third and final, and in many cases most important, is what's your ROE? What's your return on energy? Because you could be doing a multitude of things, and we often do. So what is your return on energy? Chris has said orange. I don't quite understand, but we'll go with it. So it's return on energy in terms of how do we measure the energy, and because we could be doing anything else, but this is what we're choosing to do. How do we measure that? I'm a huge believer in online events. I believe that no matter what happens with the current pandemic we're going through, online events are here to stay. Maybe they might be hybrid. That adds a whole lot of challenges, as I said in a previous stream, but they're here to stay. So really be sure about what's your modality, what are the outcomes you're after, what level of engagement are you looking for, how do I manage my risks and mitigate those risks, how do I measure my return on investment, return on objectives, and return on energy, and finally, how do I make it fun? Now, I know I can help with that, so if you have any questions, you want to get in touch, please reach out. I'm happy to help you in any shape, manner, or form. Here's my website. Just reach out and get in touch. But at the very least, ask yourself those questions for your next online events with the kind of things that you're doing. That's what you need to consider to make sure it's a success. All right, thank you for joining me for the for your Get Events Online live stream. I'll be back again next Thursday at 11 a.m. Melbourne time with daylight savings messing us up as we get into that daylight savings season. So see you at 11 next time. Thanks for being here. You've been fantastic. I've been Warwick. See ya.